a book about a girl who has been struggling with bestiality for the past 6 years, with the wolf that she saw in the forest when she was 11. However, she and the audience soon discover that the wolf is actually a werewolf. From there on, the story loses all of its excitement. Shiver, it isn't a terrible book, it's just suffering from a romantic plot tumor. For those of you unaware what that means, TV tropes will assist you. The love story between Grace, the human, and Sam, the wolf, is boring, obsessive, and dry. They first meet when Grace is about to get mauled by a wolf at the age of 11, and yet somehow she's lucid enough to check him out and remember him. Sam, the wolf, finds her fascinating, which makes me wonder how he feels about other creatures he's mauled, because I'm sure a deer could be equally fascinating. Maybe they should do that instead, a werewolf and a deer, and like their love and how it's wrong because he's a man and it's animal. That would actually be a really good story. One of you guys should really do that. I think it'd be a good idea. Grace is spared from being mauled, obviously, because she's our protagonist. And every winter she watches Sam in wolf form, not knowing he is human, and slowly falls in love with him. Yeah, that's the whole thing about it. She falls in love with Sam as a wolf. And does not think, and she doesn't know that he is a werewolf. She just knows he's a wolf. We know he isn't, but she doesn't, which makes her obsession really interesting. Unfortunately, it is quickly established that the writer is not adventurous enough to take that whole route on about, like, I really wanted it to be, like, she's in love with him as a wolf, and then when he's a human, she's like, you know, not so much. That to me would have been fun, but whatever. So Grace grows up to be a relatively normal teenager with like 2 girlfriends. At first I was really happy about the 2 girlfriends because I love when writers have friendship, but the writer quickly dismantles this friendship. One friend, Olivia, who is my favorite character in this book because she's awesome, calls Grace out, rightfully so, about her wolf fetish, but we're supposed to relate with Grace, despite the fact that she cares more about a wolf than people. It's in the entire book, like the wolves, or some wolf has been taught about is mauling people and eating people and hurting people and turning other people into werewolves. And she's like, we gotta protect the wolves. I'm like, there are people getting killed. I don't think we need to worry about your werewolf friends. Just saying. And then Sam is a artist. His words, not mine. And to quote a line from one of my favorite movies, Anne of 1,000 Days, with Anne Boleyn's character, I like to say this: your poetry is sour and your music is worse. And we're supposed to be moved by Sam's Summer Girl song. I suppose my tittering and eye rolling were not in good fashion because the poetry really is dry and it's exceptionally purple, like royal deep velvety purple rain, Prince purple. It's really, really bad. It doesn't really fit with the flow of the book. And I didn't like it at all. I just thought it was very corny. The werewolf's transformation in this book is changed by weather. In the winter, they're a wolf, and in the summer, they're a man. I actually have no problem with this. I think this is actually a very interesting, variation about the whole werewolf mythology, and I thought it was very well done with that aspect of it. However, the cure for it was really stupid, and it made me just go like, really, is this all you got? Because it was a really good idea. I like the whole summer weather thing and how it changes them into werewolves. I think that makes like legitimate sense in the context of the story, and it was a good story. But all in all, it didn't make any sense. And creativity is good, but not when it doesn't make any sense. The highlight of this book, besides Olivia, was Isabel, who I felt stole every scene she was in. I felt like she should have been the main protagonist because she's actually fighting for something worthwhile. Like, her brother gets hurt, and they save them. Her brother gets hurt, and she is fighting and trying so hard to like save him and help him. And I just love that character so much that I was like, I want her to be the protagonist because she is fighting for something for her family, to protect her home, where Grace is fighting for her boyfriend and doesn't care about anyone else, and it just upset me so much. And Grace was just dull, and her boyfriend was like no better. They're just both self-centered egomaniacs who think they're deep because they're smart. Come on. Like, neither of them care about the murdered humans except for how it affects them. You know, Sam has his moments of, like, being somewhat interesting, but he's so full of himself. And they both are, that it makes me just want to give them a copy of the Diary of Anne Frank so they can just realize what real struggles are. I'm so sick of these kids whining about how their lives suck because you can't be with your boyfriend at all times of the day. And she's, like, sneaking him into her room, and her parents don't know that she's sleeping with a boy in her room. Not sexually, even though that supposedly happens, I think. But it was not even fun. It was boring. And it was... I actually think I fell asleep. And during the parts where they were supposed to, like, start getting intimate, and I just really think I fell asleep. Because it was not smexy fun time. It was not. So, I give this book, like, a D. It was dull. Dull, dull, dull. And it's not terrible writing-wise. In fact, writing is actually the best part of it as a whole. Besides the poetry and the song parts, it has really good prose. It's just wasted on boring-ass characters and boring relationships and a story that goes nowhere really quickly. The only reason I would even listen to Linger is because I want to see Isabel get to be badass, because I think she will. Crossing my fingers. So overall, I'm pretty sure that this writer is probably a really good writer, but this book just was a waste of her talents because it was just kind of didn't go anywhere. I'm sure if she did like a regular non-paranormal story or just maybe a book of poetry, it would be lovely, but this was a waste and I really am not into it.